All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. So we are almost all the panelists are here. We have Archit, we have Nitz. I'm here just waiting for Evan. So while we are waiting for Evan, let me introduce myself quickly. I'm going to be your host. I'm Xavier, CEO, co-founder of Ramdam. So Ramdam is a creator ad platform that enables any brand to get creator ads at scale in a completely automatized way. And thanks to AI, we will provide the right creator to the right brand and provide the right feedback by analyzing the video. So here is me. We are going to discuss about what we call the ban saga, the ban, unban, reban. We don't know. We are going to discuss about that. And we have some great people here. So let me introduce you. Let me start with the TikToker. So Nitz, please introduce yourself. We are so happy to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Sure. Neat. I go by Neat McKinley online. I'm here to provide my insights as a TikToker. I have an audience of over 250,000 across multiple social medias, but my main platform is TikTok with about 3 years of experience building up a platform there. I work with ads quite a lot. So everything that's going on in the social media world regarding the TikTok ban, unban is very relevant to me. I have some insights there to share with you and what the future looks like a bit for creators and monetizing the space with ads and what sort of avenues to take with monetizing what you do and being creative about it.
Well, welcome, Nit. Thank you again. And we have on the advertising side, Archit. Thank you, Archit. Can you introduce yourself quickly?
Thanks, Xavier. Good to be here. So I'm the founder of Fuel Growth. It's an AI performance marketing agency. We use AI across the suite of performance marketing to help brands maximize the outputs on TikTok, Meta, Google, and other platforms. Spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia. I've seen firsthand how TikTok has disrupted the e-commerce industry over there. TikTok shops, live streaming, all of this. I've had firsthand experience of enabling brands in that part of the world, and I'm seeing it happening now in the US as well. So very interesting phase of where TikTok is going. Good to have Neat here to hear his point of view as well. Have worked with a lot of TikTokers like Neat in Singapore and that part of the world as well. So would love to sort of have his insights. And yeah, happy to share my thoughts over here.
All right. Thank you so much, Archit. And here is Evan. Perfect timing.
Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Because my internet is down in my house, so I had to sign on with my phone.
It's okay. We can hear you. We can see you. And you just
great.
on time. So yeah, Evan, thank you for being here. Can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, my name's Evan Weber. I'm with an agency called Experience Advertising. I've been in digital marketing for over 20 years. Worked with over 400 companies managing some aspect of their digital marketing or online advertising or social media. So yeah, I've done a lot of social media advertising over the years and other platforms as well. I'm working with influencers as well and content creators. So yeah, very excited to discuss this topic.
Thank you so much for being here, Evan. So let's go straight into it. Let's rock and roll. So first, we're going to discuss about the current status. What's going on exactly? So I'll give you the latest update and you guys going to tell us what you think, your gut feeling about that. I'm going to give you some TikTok numbers to show you how big it is, not only in the US, but globally. And Archit, your insight about what's happening in Asia would be super valuable. What we call the TikTokification or TikTokization, I don't know, but TikTok is not only TikTok. It's also a massive shift on the social media landscape and ad landscape. We'll tell you about that. We'll tell you obviously also about the TikTok shop and live stream, how it's completely disrupting the e-commerce market, and finalizing with the diversifying strategies based on this ban, of course. And of course, if you guys have some questions, we'd be happy to answer. All right, let's go. First, TikTok ban in the US. Some first key facts, and then I'll let you guys discuss about it. So why was TikTok ban? As you know, was seen as a national security risk for the US. And so to avoid the ban, Baillenx was supposed to first divest its US operation to US-based company or investors and ensure no operational ties to Baillenx or backdoor access to US user data. So that was the plan until January 18th. And TikTok was indeed removed from the US App Store on January 18th. Actually, it was not only removed. For 13 hours, it was completely black. It went black. So maybe you tell us about that, Nit, but you couldn't access TikTok as a user, as a creator, as an advertiser, or your ad campaign were cut.
Yeah, it was scary because it was. I was actually traveling abroad at the time that it happened. I was in the UK visiting, and even over there, I wasn't allowed to access the app. They didn't give me any access, not only to not see any of the content, but I couldn't even access my creator tools and all of the things that I needed to follow up on. I mean, I was in between campaigns and sponsorships at the time, and everything just went on hold because all my clients and contacts were just kind of holding their breath for a little bit with what was going on. So definitely a scary however many hours it was, but
it was 13 hours, I think. And then Donald Trump says he would like issue a 75 days extension between April 5th. But so what happened, is so TikTok was actually accessible to US users, but now, if I'm not mistaken, new users cannot download TikTok, and existing user cannot update the app via the app stores, because I guess neither Google neither Apple wants to take the risk. We'll talk about that, and we saw some ongoing negotiation with. Maybe you have some info about that, about Oracle that proposed an overseeing TikTok algorithm, or Perplexity AI that sends an offer. And so whatever the next steps should be, a deal must be reached by April 5th, or TikTok faces a permanent ban. So those are the key facts. I can't wait to have your opinion about that. Archit, you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, on the first hand, I'm an Indian. I come from India. India has a complete blackout of TikTok. It has stayed there for years now. So, I mean, geopolitically, this is nothing new in terms of what's happening. I do, however, feel with Donald Trump coming in, I think it's a more business-friendly sort of setup over there. I think we'll definitely see something happen. I don't see TikTok shutting down in the US. Which way it goes, I think there are various offers on the table, but we don't know until sort of what comes out. I think these are all sort of speculations happening. But overall, I do feel like this is a wake-up call for creators, for everyone in the industry, sort of to also look at platforms beyond TikTok in a way. And I think we'll talk about it a little later. But I would say I'm not worried in terms of the future. I do see a future being there, and I think US is just playing, making sure that their side of safety is sort of taken into account, and the money goes back into the US instead of going to China. So I think this is just that hard play on their part.
So, Evan, what's your take on this?
Yeah, it's a tough issue because there's political involvement here. We'll see who ends up buying it. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was controversy behind it, if you know what I mean, and directing it in one way or another that the current administration wants it to go in, if you know what I mean. But I hope it will continue to stay live and flourish. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the getting it sold or whatever is the piece that has to be figured out. However that gets done, I don't really. It's hard to speculate, to be honest. There's a lot of suitors, a lot of people want this thing, and I'm sure they don't want to let it go so easily. So it's a tough negotiation. It's a tough deal, and hard to. No crystal ball could tell you how this one's going to turn out.
Yeah, obviously, just needs. So we do have a lot of creators on Ramdam, and actually we did a survey before the ban, asking TikTok creators, so how do you feel about the ban? And it was super surprising because most of them, they were almost in a denial. They would say, no, nothing is going to happen. It's fine. So Archit, you told us about a wake-up call, and I have the feeling that this 13 hours ban was kind of a wake-up call. How do you feel about that? Is it a wake-up call for you? What are you?
Yeah, it is an incredible wake-up call. It's it's not new news that the creator landscape and just what it means to be a creator in any space on the internet has just been absolutely booming. TikTok has had such a critical role in kind of forming what the creator landscape will look like, not just for itself, but for a bunch of other platforms. And something I'm very passionate about is telling my peers and just coaching others and diversifying where their revenue is coming from, or where they're making their content, or who they're making their content for, because this ban meant a full stop for so many people, and not just creators. I mean, there's many businesses, small businesses that require this. There are agencies that require this to basically function. I mean, a lot of people have a lot to lose at stake. So even just that short period of time was pretty scary. But also, there's this looming. There's this attitude where a lot of people didn't think it would go down, and now that it actually did, and there was a very tangible threat to, at least a portion of like your income or just your presence online as a creator, I think people are starting to be a little bit more, look at it a little bit more realistically right now. But it's still a little unclear how that's going to exactly pan out, I think.
So just to have your opinion on that. So would you be like, obviously you don't have a crystal ball, none of us have, but would you be like rather optimistic, pessimistic about the issue of that after there is a deadline, April 5th? What do you think, there is going to be a deal? What's your
So I've been tracking this for a long time. I think that the current presidential administration is probably going to find a way. I would be a little bit more optimistic. I agree with Archit. I don't think that TikTok is going away for good anytime soon. It is just looking really hairy right now about how that will actually play out. I doubt that there's going to just be one agent at stake here that's going to buy. I think there's a lot of smaller mechanisms and a lot of just smaller pieces that are going to be put together over time, over the next 75 days, to make a package of what's going to save it. But I think it's going to be complicated, but I would lean a little bit more optimistically.
All right, that's good to know. Archit, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think as people who are in this industry, we should be optimistic rather than pessimistic about this, but at the same time be safe in terms of a strategy moving forward. I think this is just I think this is, whatever happened is sort of I would say a positive sort of move for the industry, and I think everyone, right from creators like me to agency players like us and brand operators over there, I think it just gives us an idea of what's there in the future.
Evan, you want to say something?
Yeah, it's such a powerful platform that something has to be worked out. So that's just the reality of that. So onward and upward until otherwise, informed. So yeah, I'm optimistic, to be honest with you, just because it's such a powerful platform, and you can't just let that go. It just impacts too many people, like the panel said, way too many people, and it's just it will find a way.
Yeah.
To continue.
Yeah, I think you will agree that we're optimistic, but we have absolutely no clue how it's going to happen. Like the data, the algorithm, the US properties, the not US property, what's going to be sold, the backdoor and everything. So it's very complicated, but let's be optimistic because we want to be optimistic.
Right.
And let's talk about a little bit. So yeah, I had this sorry. Yeah. So said no. I would like the United States to have 50% ownership. By doing this, we save TikTok. So let's see how it goes, and let's see what happens. Just a few. Let's go a deep dive into TikTok. Some numbers of TikTok, which are absolutely massive. So TikTok is almost 1.5 billion monthly active users, and almost 180 million user active. So it's more than 50% of the US population. that an average TikTok user spends more than 95 minutes per day on the app. So we usually say, okay, it's only for for kids. It's not really true. Like almost 45% of the audience is, it's not old. 30 years old is not old, but it's more than 30 years old. TikTok-wise, it's old. And 50% female, 45% male. So it's massive. It's changed everything. You see that needs when you, in terms of engagement, in terms of scale, when you post TikTok versus other platform. Can you tell a little bit about the scale of TikTok in the US?
Yeah, I mean the scale of things is it's huge. I mean the influence that the American population that uses TikTok has on the platform overall is enormous. I mean, maybe it's a little ignorant to say, but I mean, American TikTok runs the app for a lot of like the rest of the world. I mean, a lot of people are consuming content, but also a lot of creators live there, based out of there, and are pumping out that content that's just keeping it going. And I can definitely speak to the demographics that you have presented here as well. It's very true. It's definitely not something that is just for kids. With my own audience, it definitely looks more like the statistics we have here today. There is way more than you think of the older generation, you might call it over 30, that are definitely using it, that are definitely consuming my own content and those of my peers. So yeah, these numbers are critical to the hugeness and the impact that the TikTok has on social media. It's unquestionable.
And yeah, Archit?
Yeah, not surprised at all. I think I was expecting, if not less, more. I've sort of, as I said, I've got exposure not just in US but in other parts of the world where I saw TikTok shops being launched after TikTok came in, and how beautifully the whole experience is integrated. I think it's the only app which has sort of figured this out. Meta has been spending billions of dollars to figure their Meta shop out, but hasn't come close to anything of what TikTok has delivered. And I think it helps creators like me do their magic very well over there. So not at all surprised. I think a lot of people of that demographic go there to consume content, but end up buying a lot over there as well. And so a very important audience, which we have shown over here. And I think the algorithm just is top notch. I have a friend who works in the data science team at TikTok, and he's spoken about the sheer volume and the size of the algorithm, and how it's so different and superior to all the other apps which are around us. So not surprised by these numbers at all, honestly.
Evan, I know that you're not only an ad specialist, but you're also an hardcore user of TikTok, so you know very well the platform. Do you see a difference between, like, in terms of platform for user-wise, between TikTok, let's say, and Instagram, in terms of scale, in terms of engagement?
Yeah, I was thinking about this recently. You know, TikTok just has so much more content than the other platforms. Maybe, YouTube rivals it just, volume of content, but these types of videos, the, vertical video style, that TikTok just has so much more content to work with, people uploading. It's really allowed people to become creators that were basically, I don't want to call them nobodies, but I call it turning, nobodies into somebodies. But no other platform is able to amplify people's content. But, truth be told, you have to have you have to be, have an angle, you have to be funny, you have to be, consistent, you have to have personality. If you have any of those, be able to, put together great recipes, whatever it may be. But if you have some, cleverness, some cuteness, some, in your videos, they tend to go viral as opposed to someone who wouldn't, right? And then, you got other factors that amplify videos. No other platform was able to deliver for so many different creators, content creators, volume wise, to amplify all of their content, as other platforms just couldn't ever deliver that. So not to mention just the volume of content they have to work with now and the everyday uploads, by people, 10 years old to 70. They have all demographics uploading content to the platform now. So that's why I think TikTok, you just can't emulate it. You can't emulate it at this point. It's too big and powerful and good, Yeah.
I think it's very interesting. So you're talking about the virality of the content even needs. Have you?
Yeah.
I guess you're trying to crack the code of this virality.
No. What I observe. What I observe in my feed.
Yeah.
What I observe.
Neat as a creator. I mean, he's trying to crack the code.
Right.
So, are you successful doing that? What's your?
Yeah, everything Evan had to share is completely true. There's just the sheer amount of content that you can consume is also the same content that you're up against as a creator. That's what you're competing with. So, just your ability to survive and get an opportunity algorithmically is really dependent on these really intricate qualities that you're able to deliver over in a way that touches audiences, that is able to just be a little bit different, that just has a little bit of a spark, that keeps people not swiping away as soon as they see it. There are formulas that anybody, the nobodies are looking for to become the somebodies truly. And I think TikTok and just the sheer size of it and the nature of it is probably the hottest flame you're going to get to refine you into somebody who's able to make content that's very, very much liked and very much watched. So it's a powerhouse, no doubt.
That's a very good transition to the next slide, because it's not only about TikTok now, it's what we call the TikTokization of social media and ads. So basically it's like switching from audience based on the number of followers you have on your audience to a complete content first strategy where the algorithm is king, where content drive audience, where you can have we can see on our side that creators with 2 million followers generate 200 views and the other way around. So it completely changed everything for creators, but also for advertiser, because you used to have a small quantity of ads overproduced that doesn't work anymore. Now you need to have organic ads. Some creative strategists call it ugly ads, but you have to have a lot of them to find the one that has the sparkle, and you never know which one. So it's completely changing everything for users, for creators, for advertisers. And it's not only TikTok now, it's Instagram Reels, it's also YouTube Shorts that basically copied TikTok. Even LinkedIn now is launching their own video first tool. What do you think? Is it a massive change? Do you agree on that? Archit?
I think, as I said, I think we've seen it firsthand. I think the way, as you mentioned, Meta has changed its sort of algorithms, and the way ads are now run on Meta, the structures of your campaigns. A lot of that has sort of come from TikTok and the success of TikTok, and a lot of the way they've cracked the code of, as you mentioned, nano influencers. There are these micro moments now which get amplified and become global moments, I call them now. And I think TikTok has sort of led that path in terms of that happening, and then just their sheer the way it sort of runs. So I mean, no denying that fact, but at the same time, I do feel that this is the way forward, and everyone sort of now adapted that. It sort of made advertisement a little dumber in a way, I would say, because it's very content friendly, it's very native, organic content. You keep pushing out as much content as possible, and then you let the algorithms do their magic, and you figure out what's really working well or what's not working well, rather than a guy who's doing all the maths, trying to figure out who your target audience is, who you're focusing on, what you're doing, what you're not doing. It's completely shifted the game away now into the hand of creators. And I think this is where social media has been going for a while, and now it's truly there in a way.
Neat, what does it change for you? I mean, you're working for brands, but you're working also for your audience. How does it change the way you do ads, for example? You want to make it more organic, more rough in a way?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when it comes to making like an ad, for example, or doing like an ad segment, quite plainly and simply, the ad will perform terribly if it feels like an ad in any way, shape, or form. If it sounds like an ad, if it feels like an ad, if it looks like an ad in any way, it's almost like the integration of the ad placement is, you could say it's more complicated, but I'd like to think of it more as it just requires the same creativity that I would need to put out to make any other piece of content. I suppose to some that might be considered a challenge, but that's exactly that's the whole crux of it. There is that that's why we're seeing this kind of change towards a content first strategy, because they're just more effective. And like Archit said, you need to you need to be able to do something and create something that these algorithms can work with. And if plain and simply, if you're not able to do that, then this is where, you're going to see something fall behind, because it won't be relatable anymore. It doesn't feel creative. But yeah, it's really the quality of what you're able to do. And frankly, TikTok, I think, is doing that stunningly. I have a presence on Instagram with Reels and on YouTube Shorts, and I can speak to it firsthand. You just don't see it the same on those platforms. Maybe they'll catch up, maybe they won't. But the truth of it is that TikTok has a platform where you can do that. You can be up to that creative challenge and create something effective.
Evan, you're working for a lot of advertisers for quite a while. So advertisers need to let go, let the creators do their stuff that are organic. They're not in control anymore. Is it difficult for some advertisers to have to adapt? How do you convince them to change the way they see the ads with this TikTokization of social media and ads?
Well, it's using, they call them kind of UGC videos, or influencer style videos as the ads themselves. They just pay creators to record the piece. They send them the product, they pay them to do the content, and then we take the ads and we run them in the ad campaigns for the brands on Meta, IG, and in TikTok platforms like that, and YouTube Shorts, placements like that. So it's about leveraging the content creators' content in the brand's ad campaigns. That's really where it's at, in my opinion, from the advertiser standpoint. But couple differences, you can reach a hell of a lot of quality users through Meta, but you can't reach them in the targeted way you can through TikTok. So Meta used to have, back when they used to be Facebook, they used to have a lot more targeting parameters in the advertising, and they somehow got away from that. They got rid of a lot of them. You can still do some targeting, but they want to figure out who the target audience is for you with their AI machine learning, supposedly. And so you run these broad campaigns, and they sort of figure it out over time for you and serve your ads to the right people, theoretically. But that's the way we have to run them over there now. On TikTok, you can target by keyword, you can target by hashtags, you can target demographic, you can target much more intricately than you can through Meta. So that's a major difference for advertisers in just the ability to target the ads to the right audiences. Not to mention, you can upload databases, and you can do that on both platforms. Previous customers, recent website visitors, you can target all of those through these platforms. As far as the TikTokization, Meta, they have such, they have their very captive user base, and they can just, take all TikTok's great algorithmic, what's the word? I can't even say it. Their strategies for the algorithm, and apply it to Meta's, to their reels and their stories and their, and keep their users super engaged on their own properties with the tactics that TikTok has perfected. So that's where I see them borrowing from TikTok to make Meta's properties more engaging. And so therefore the ad units will perform better, in my opinion. Both platforms needs to be leveraged though, simultaneously in a multi-channel strategy. But yeah.
Good. I think we lost Archit. He's going to be back. He lost internet connection. Just a little bit talking about TikTok Shop and live stream, and then we'll go back to the other platforms to finish. So also TikTok is completely reinventing the way people will consume and buy products through live streams, through TikTok Shop. So it's straight from Asia. I think Archit is going to be super valuable because he's got a lot of experience with the Asian market. But maybe Nitz, did you have some experience doing that kind of like live stream, working for TikTok Shop as an affiliate? Any experience to share?
So I don't have direct experience to share myself, but I do have colleagues who I can draw some experiences from who I have to say there is nothing quite like the TikTok Shop / live stream experience. I mean, you use TikTok and you'll see live streams of, thousands of people watching somebody use a product. It's insane. It's crazy.
Random products too.
Yeah, just something, and you'll see all these people watching it, or just even doing a segment on a product for like a TikTok Shop ad, and there are just all of this engagement with it. And I don't know what the numbers are exactly that come out of that, generally speaking, but just judging by the engagement or just judging by the fact that so many people are interested in just watching a product be employed or used is crazy. I can't think of, just the confidence that people have to buy something that is from a different country that they've only just discovered 5 seconds ago. No Amazon review is ever going to give you that level of confidence to buy something. It's crazy. I don't see that happening on any other platform either. And just the way that creators are integrated with that, whether that's just making the content and getting a flat rate or commission based,
affiliate based.
Affiliates. Yeah, exactly. That is something you don't really see anywhere else. TikTok has that down. That has absolutely transformed the way that we see commerce occurring on social media. 100%.
Yeah, Evan, do you have any clients, or do you have any?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the great thing about TikTok, there's the TikTok advertising, ads manager, and then there's the TikTok Shop. So they're sort of separate, entities within the business manager section. But the shop is great because it's a quick checkout. They don't even have to visit the website. They're being, marketed to by hundreds, if not thousands, of individual creators that are essentially becoming affiliates, earning a commission on the products that sell, when the people interact and they purchase. And I've purchased a lot of I know what's I know what's going on. I know it says, earning a commission. So because I'm in the affiliate marketing industry anyway, I'm always clicking through their ads and purchasing through the TikTok Shop. I probably have 20 cool products I've purchased from the TikTok Shop via these creator videos that have shown up in my feed. And the cool thing is when you like one of them, or then you just start seeing more of them and more of them and more of them, freeze dried candy, spin mops, stick vacuums, the list goes on and on. Products, brilliant products you never thought you needed, but you absolutely do. That's what I call it. But no, it's a boon for advertisers, but advertisers haven't migrated over there in the volume that they will continue to, as long as everything stays cool, with TikTok. So they have a lot of upside to realize on the advertising front. Meta's already arrived. They've already been there for a while. Meta hasn't even realized, maybe 10% of the advertising potential that could go on there. That, that's just an estimate out of gut instinct. But the lives. So the lives are great. People do lives on Meta as well, Facebook. Live shopping is a great way for individual brands and merchants to move their products with the live shopping broadcasts. like the panel said, they're getting a lot of viewers on there. I don't know where these people come from, but they show up. Sometimes I check them out, not for very long, but yeah, live shopping is definitely allowing more individuals to sell through the platform, and it's very beneficial for those smaller merchants or brands.
Archit, any experience on that? You're back. Welcome back.
Yeah. Sorry for disconnecting for a while.
No problem.
I mean, I think there are two ways to look at it. I think US live streaming is still sort of going up. I've seen it firsthand, how it's sort of created a market for itself in Southeast Asia, and marketplaces who are parallels of Amazons of the world or Walmarts of the world in Southeast Asia are now doing live streaming of their own, just because TikTok was so successful. And so everyone sort of buying on these live streams is just a way, I think, in places which are low trust places, it just becomes much more easier for someone to sell their products, for an influencer or a creator to sort of showcase how a product works, the benefits, give a live demo of how you can use the product, share other details around it. And so you are able to create these live connections with one to many or one to sort of hundreds of thousands, depending on your live streams, which maybe through a single content which you release might not be able to capture that attention. And with TikTok, why it works so well is because there's no dropping out from one page to the other, which happens in all the other places, right? And TikTok, whatever I like, I can just click it over there and go and buy it from there, right? So we did a session in a community we run in Singapore last year, and over there we did a live session on TikTok Live. And you wouldn't believe, I think Neat might know this, but there are facilities in China, in Korea, in Singapore, where there are 10s and 20s or 30s of rooms where all they do is just do live stream 24/7. And so different creators keep coming in and going out, and it's the volumes they do is crazy. So a brand can actually sell out in a single day of live stream.
Right.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So it might be only the beginning in the US and Europe, but also you're talking about the beginning, but also maybe the end. So we don't know. Just finish on that diversifying strategy. So we need to keep in mind that TikTok, hopefully for all of us, will stay for good in the US. But this was a wake-up call, like the 13 hours blackout from TikTok. Needs just to finish. So basically, TikTok is your main channel, right?
Yes.
You can still have presence on other social media, Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah. So
what's your strategy? How do you see it? Like, do you want to increase your audiences on these platforms? What's your creator strategy?
Yeah. So the desire is always to grow. I've been doing content creation as a light hobby for 6 years. I started off live streaming on Twitch actually exclusively, and then 3 years ago making the transition over to like video style content, really for the purpose of bringing more of a live audience over to my live stream platforms. But that has shifted because I'm getting so much more reach now on Instagram and on TikTok. I do have a small presence on YouTube as well. So the goal is always to grow these sorts of things. But after our blackout and after all of the just kind of questioning about how things exactly are going to go down with TikTok, it is imperative now more than ever to make sure you're diversifying. If the TikTok ban were to have gone permanently, and it would have happened permanently, I would have lost close to about a third to half of my regular income. That is how much I get from just live stream gifts, the creator marketplace, and creator rewards program, but also ads and doing paid campaigns as well. So a lot of little revenue streams that are there, but they're fueled through TikTok and what I do over there. So it would have been kind of catastrophic, but I do have a pretty substantial audience on other platforms as well. So I'm sure things would have adapted, but this would have been no small hit for sure.
All right, we just have a few minutes left, so I'm going to ask you, Evan and Archit, on this topic to try to be brief, because we might have one or two questions, and I do have a surprise for the audience at the end. So please stick until the end. Evan, about the diversifying strategies for advertisers. Do you have any recommendation for some of your advertisers that maybe advertise on TikTok? Any?
Well, it's never about one channel. It's always about a multi-channel, overall strategy hitting on multiple platforms, both paid and organic simultaneously. So, with a cohesive strategy, one would hope. So you have to be leveraging all the platforms from Google Ads to Google Organic to Meta to IG, all the TikTok, retargeting ads, following people around after they leave the website. Many strategies, affiliate marketers, influencers, content creators. The great thing is companies won't stop spending on content creators and influencers, in my opinion, even if something like that were to happen, because they still want the content created and they still want third parties repping their products and talking about their company. So there's the trend of companies wanting third parties repping and talking about their companies is never going to end. It will only get bigger over time. So that's just a wave that cannot be stopped, in my opinion. So yeah, diversify your platforms from a content creator standpoint, build your email list, do anything and everything to build your audiences on multiple platforms. And it's always about building audiences on, building up your audiences on as many platforms that make sense as possible. So, yeah.
Yeah, one thing that I noticed, for example, is like on our side, like maybe 2 years ago, when you had a top performing creatives on TikTok, usually was not that performing on other networks, like on Instagram. Like it was like for TikTok only, were like successful on TikTok. Now, what we noticed with our advertiser, and when we have a top performing on TikTok, like we had this one doing 250 million views for a photo cleaning app. It's successful everywhere now. It's successful on Instagram, successful on YouTube, it's successful on all our channels. So you have this kind of what we notice uniformization in a way of the video consumption. And now TikTok is everywhere in a way. So I don't know if you agree, Archit, and if you advise your advertiser to go everywhere.
I think it really depends on the size of the business we're talking about and the budgets they have. I think for a smaller business, what you mentioned is something we actually tell our customers as well. That you can replicate content now across multiple platforms and really see how the algorithms pick up and what kind of audiences are you hitting across multiple platforms. Is it the same? Is it different? And I think markets like US, what we also forget is there are so many different ethnicity groups. There are so many different types of users who are consuming content, and then there are these and everyone is very powerful in their own way. And so there are these niche content pieces that do really well on TikTok and Instagram and other places. You might want to play around with them and see which content resonates with which audience on which platform, and start creating that trend and pattern in your content creation and sort of leverage that and double down and triple down on that. And sort of this is what we've been doing through leveraging AI, and sort of it helps us go there much, much faster than what a human can do in a way. And I think more and more brands who are even starting up, we work with a lot of startups as well. And so they are coming up with these diversified strategies, which are very easy to begin with. And then as you get more and more data, you can then diversify it even more and sort of build and niche down on it.
Thank you so much. I do. So we have just one question because we don't have time, and I have a little surprise for you after. From Louise, thank you for your question. So Louise is asking if with the new government in the US, could we have new regulations concerning what we can and cannot post on TikTok and on other platforms? So she might be a bit concerned. Neat, Ivan, Archit, do you have any answer to this question?
Freedom of speech will reign supreme, hopefully.
I agree.
I don't think they'll.
Yeah. Freedom of speech will remain. So don't worry, Louise.
Yeah.
Everyone,
Yeah.
you will still be able to post about.
I would say just have your strategy. Keep optimistic in your strategy, and then don't worry about things that are not in your control.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I think, just one last question from Jan. She's asking, we didn't talk obviously about Europe because this is mostly in the US. Do you think European need to prepare for anything, or like any take on that, or not really?
I mean, question? Sorry.
So
depending on what happens in the US, it sort of amplifies globally as well. So it will be very interesting to see what happens in April
Right.
and then maybe the rest of the world
We'll
sort
follow.
of-
Yeah.
yeah. I think that is what happens generally, right?
Mhm.
All right.
So yeah.
It's finished. So thank you so much, Neat Evan. Before we go, I tell you I have a package for everyone attending these things. I have 20% discount on all your pack. Just send me an email with webinar, and I'll give you this. I'll give you this discount. So thank you so much for your presence, for your questions. Neat, Evan, Archit, it was super interesting. Thank you so much. Maybe a word to conclude. Archit, Evan, and Neat, and then we go. Neat, you want to start?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Do you want a few words as a conclusion on your side?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and hearing what we have to say, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this climate changes. Just Neat McKinley on all platforms if you're curious about any of the experience I talked about and backing it up. It's pretty easy to find, and really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thank you, Neat, again. Evan, few words to finish?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Super, interesting conversation, different perspectives. I think it was very well rounded, covered a lot of topics in a short period of time. So I love being on webinars where there's a lot of value being delivered. So this was great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Evan. Archit?
Yeah, similar sentiments. Thanks for having us over here. I hope the audience got value out of what we spoke about. And if you guys want to know more about what we are doing at Field Growth, feel free to reach me out on LinkedIn. I'm Archit Anand over there, and happy to talk to you guys. Yeah.
We sure will. Thank you so much, everyone. Speak to you soon, and
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
All right, take care.
Okay.
Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you so
Take
much.
care. Bye.